Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about CFR trade terms. We mainly learn about the rights and obligations of both buyers and sellers, the variations of CFR terms, as well as the delivery, such as cost and risk. The seller is required to ship the goods within time of shipment stipulated in the contract at the port of the loading, onto the ship destined for the port of destination, and bear all the costs and risks until the goods are loaded on board, including chartering and booking services, and pay the cost and freight named port of shipment. Note: timely notice of shipment is important because the seller is responsible for shipment, while the buyer is responsible for insurance. They need to communicate with each other. For example, if the goods are exported from China to Germany, the correct expression in the following terms is A. CFR Shanghai, B. CFR Hamburger. Here we should choose the answer B, because it refers to the port of destination. When it comes to the rights and obligations of both buyer and seller in CFR terms, we mainly focus on the allocation of risk, cost, and responsibility. The allocation of risk, responsibility, and cost in CFR terms can be summarized as follows. The buyer bears all risks before the goods are loaded onto the ship. The seller bears all risks after the goods are loaded onto the ship. Responsibility of seller: 1. Chartering and booking services. 2. Clearing the goods for export and deliver the goods. 3. Delivering the documents. Responsibility of buyers: 1. Appointing the time and place of unloading at port of destination. 2. Completing import customs clearance procedures. 3. Receiving orders, take delivery and make payment. 4. Purchasing insurance. Cost seller: export customs clearance fees and ocean freight. Buyer's cost: import customs clearance fees and insurance premium. 1. Among the following choices, the obligations of the seller include A. Bearing all the costs before shipment. Correct. B. Bearing all the risks after shipment. Incorrect. C. Being responsible for chartering and booking. Correct. D. Sending the shipping notice to the buyer in time. Correct. Regarding the unit price of our exported goods, which expression is correct? A. $100 per barrel. B. $250 per barrel, CFR London. C. $250 per barrel, CFR Guangzhou. Here, B is the correct answer, because CFR refers to cost and freight named port of destination. For the use of CFR terms, in order to differentiate who is responsible for unloading costs, there may be variations in CFR terms. Let's take a look at the main variations of CFR terms. CFR terms variations. CFR liner terms refers to unloading costs under liner term shall be borne by the party who pays the freight, which shall be the seller. CFR ex-tackle refers to the seller's responsibility to pay for the expenses of moving the goods from the bottom of the hold to the ship's side until the goods are unloaded from the tackle. CFR landed refers to the seller's responsibility for bearing all expenses of unloading the goods onto the destination port's shore, including light rage and dock fees. CFR X ships hold refers to the seller's non-responsibility for unloading, but the buyer bears the expenses of moving the goods from the bottom of the hold to the dock. After learning about the rights and obligations of both buyer and seller in CFR terms, the variations of CFR terms, let's take a look at the nature of the delivery in a CFR sale. It is a symbolic delivery. The seller delivers the goods against bill of lading, and the buyer makes a payment against shipping documents. As long as the seller submits to the buyer the full set of qualified documents stipulated in the contract on time, even if the goods are damaged or lost during shipment, the buyer must make the payment. If the documents submitted by the seller do not meet the requirements, even if the goods are shipped to the destination intactly, the buyer has the right to refuse to make payment. After studying all the key points, let's do some in-class practices. Our company concluded a contract with customer A in the UK based on CFR terms. We completed the loading at 2 a.m. on September 1st. The ship set sail in the afternoon of the same day. Since September 1st and 2nd were weekend days, we failed to timely notify the buyer of shipment. On September 3rd, we received an urgent request from the buyer, stating that a ship sank on the afternoon of September 2nd, resulting in the loss of the cargo. Thus, they asked for a full compensation from us. Please make an analysis of this case. Analysis. We are responsible for this case because under the CFR terms, the seller is responsible for chartering and booking the ship, while the buyer is responsible for insurance. The buyer didn't know about the ship's information, so it was the seller's duty to inform the buyer of the ship's information. Otherwise, if the buyer missed the insurance coverage, the seller should bear the responsibility. After today's study, how well do you learn about the CFR terms? In the end, we prepare a post-class exploration exercise for you to think about and practice. Thank you for listening.